Tonight, charges are laid after a carbon monoxide poisoning incident that landed a Canora teenager in hospital. Saskatchewan students feel the pinch of another tuition hike. And the Riders look to clinch a playoff spot this weekend.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, September 12th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. A man from Canora is facing charges in connection with a case of carbon monoxide poisoning. It happened 2 years ago at a store he was a manager at. But as Jeremy Warren reports, the family of the young boy who was poisoned in that incident says the blame should go beyond just one employee.
I started feeling lightheaded and dizzy.
This Saskatchewan teen suffered severe carbon monoxide poisoning while working at the co-op in Canora 2 years ago. Now, RCMP have charged a former manager with 1 count of criminal negligence causing bodily harm. CBC's Go Public brought the story to light last year, and RCMP started investigating shortly after. 14-year-old Will Kratenko was told to clean an enclosed area of the meat department with a gas-powered pressure washer. The day before, another teen employee went home sick after doing the same thing. A supervisor was aware of that, according to text messages between that supervisor and the employee. Kratenko collapsed and had to be airlifted to an Edmonton hospital for medical care and spent hours recovering in a hyperbaric chamber.
He was basically at death's door.
Kratenko's family hopes more charges are coming because the responsibility doesn't stop with one employee.
I'm thankful that he's going to be held to some degree, some accountability, but I still feel, and I'm sure the community feels, and they've shared it with me as well, that it wasn't just Kyle Kaiser. It was the co-op.
This labor professor says the charge sends a strong message to the Saskatchewan business community.
If you do not take your responsibilities to your workers, in particular your young workers and other vulnerable workers, seriously, that you may be subject to an RCMP criminal investigation. You may have the RCMP come to your home. You may be arrested.
Co-op was ordered to comply with the rules it had broken, but has faced no fines.
In my heart and my head and the way we've been ghosted and treated, I know, and by other people being interviewed and that have shared with us, we know that the co-op knew.
Former co-op manager Kelly Kaiser was released after his arrest. His next court appearance is scheduled for October 2nd in Canora. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The opposition NDP wants the provincial auditor to investigate the government's purchase of 4 firefighting planes from Conair. CBC News reported earlier this week that Coulson Air Crane is taking the province to court to cancel the sale. The BC company alleges the government failed to run a competitive bidding process and paid $100 million more than it should have for the retrofitted planes. Coulson's president also alleges a key decision maker on the government's purchase used to work for Conair.
The allegations is that these policies and procedures were not followed. And so if they're not followed or appears to not being followed, that's why I'm writing to the auditor to make sure that there's a third party that can go and investigate that and bring people the accountability that they deserve in Saskatchewan, especially if they're paying $100 million more for the same aircraft that a competitor could have provided.
In court documents, the government maintains it followed established procurement policies, and it says the planes it bought from Conair were the only aircraft that met its criteria. It wants the court case thrown out. And the opposition is also blaming the province for another hike in tuition at post-secondary schools. Statistics Canada data shows those fees have climbed faster in Saskatchewan than almost anywhere else in the country. And that's leaving some students feeling frustrated. Jeffrey Tram has that story.
It's getting more expensive to be a student here at the University of Regina. Tuition has gone up 4% over the last year, and students say they're struggling to keep up with the rising costs.
Like, I pay for my tuition, I pay for everything else too. You have to pay for a parking pass, literally everything you can think of, the textbooks. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Everything you would think would be free, and that comes with a tuition. Because you're already paying so much to go here, you think it would be like provided within. It's not.
The NDP says the average tuition across the province has risen more than 35% since 2018, climbing from just over $7,200 to almost $10,000. The NDP's advanced education critic says that's unacceptable.
Affordable tuitions must be bare minimum, and right now we are failing.
The opposition and students are calling for more help from the provincial government.
Just more support overall, especially in times like these.
Saskatchewan is currently tied with Alberta for the lowest minimum wage in the country at $15 an hour. And even though it'll increase to $15.35 next month, students say that still makes it hard to make ends meet.
As a student, when you only are working part-time, you can't work a full-time job when you're a full-time student. That's impossible.
Graywell says rising costs are pushing students into debt or out of the province.
It means too many young people are giving up on their dream of post-secondary education or leaving our province to study somewhere else.
In a statement, the provincial government says universities set their own tuition rates. It has capped tuition hikes at 4%. It says it's also providing support through the graduate retention program and student aid. Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
2 members of the Prime Minister's new Indigenous Advisory Council are from Saskatchewan. The council will help advise the Federal Major Projects Office. Its goal is to ensure Indigenous communities are both consulted and included in new nation-building projects proposed by Mark Carney, and it was formed as part of the federal government's response to concerns about the major projects raised by Indigenous groups. One of the Saskatchewan appointees says critical minerals in the province are top of mind.
So critical minerals is always one of our focuses. That's occurring on our traditional territories as Indigenous peoples, and so I think one of the things that leaders really wanted was to be able to receive some assurance that they would be included in the economic benefits stemming from those projects.
The other Saskatchewan appointee is Darcy Bear, the chief of Whitecap Dakota First Nation. There are 11 people on the advisory council in total. Members are required to meet at least 4 times a year in person. Canada's Minister of Energy and Natural Resources has announced a new program in Manitoba aimed at helping residents save money on energy bills. It's called the Canada Greener Homes Affordability Program, and Tim Hodgson says the plan is to expand it across Canada.
This program will deliver over $29 million in federal funding, matched dollar for dollar by the province of Manitoba, so that 7,000 modest income households in Manitoba will be able to access no-cost retrofits that will make their energy bills hundreds of dollars cheaper, their homes more comfortable, and their carbon footprint smaller.
Hodgson says there is also funding for Indigenous organizations so they can roll out energy efficiency programs in their communities. Regina City Council has approved plans for an affordable housing unit in the city's downtown. It will be built on this parking lot at the southwest corner of 11th Avenue and Lorne Street. The complex will be made up of 4 buildings with 48 units in the structure. It's being developed by Namarint, an Indigenous-led nonprofit organization. Current downtown planning rules require new buildings like this one to have shopping at street level, but this proposal doesn't have that, and that's why it needed council's approval.
This rezoning is what will allow us to take a property that has been a temporary parking lot and transform it into a place where families can live, grow, and contribute to downtown renewal.
This is the first new building to be proposed for Regina's downtown in 10 years. Some councillors raised concerns about the lack of density, but council approved the project in a vote of 10-1. Construction could begin as early as this fall or in the spring. In Quebec, thousands of parents were scrambling to make last-minute plans to get their kids to and from school on Friday. That's because 1,200 electric school buses were suddenly pulled off the road because of this. Earlier this week, the heating system on a Lion electric bus caught fire in Montreal. Several children and a driver were inside the bus, but they managed to escape in time and no one was injured. Concerns over the buses have had a ripple effect in other provinces, with a spokesperson confirming the service of 6 Lion diesel buses in Ontario has also been suspended. And in PEI, an opposition MLA is calling for the inspection of all 107 Lion buses in that province's school bus fleet. Well, the leaves may be falling to the ground, but the air felt more like June in Regina Friday. It was humid after that rainfall overnight, and that also led to some severe weather Friday afternoon. This unsettled pattern may stick around for the weekend, or at least part of it. Weather specialist Helena Mahalik will tell us what we can expect after the break. Stay with us. A man suspected of killing conservative U.S. political influencer Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Aaron Collins has more on what we know about the suspect and the arrest.
In the end, it was the U.S. president that broke the news live on TV. After receiving thousands of tips, investigators in Utah had their man.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him.
The FBI director confirming that news shortly after.
This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie.
Investigators say the suspect was arrested late Thursday night. Tyler Robinson turned in with help from a friend of his family. That after the FBI released video of the suspect on the roof of Utah Valley University. Police believe it was that rooftop where a single shot was fired from a high-powered rifle. Investigators say the shooting of Charlie Kirk was targeted and potentially political. Told by Robinson's family he had become more political and critical of Kirk. Inscriptions found on unused bullet casings could provide a clue too. One reading, "Hey fascist, catch." Utah's governor speaking out against political violence.
It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are.
The president quick to condemn his political adversaries.
The radicals on the left are the problem, and they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy.
Donald Trump weighing in on the suspect's future, too.
I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine, and I hope he gets the death penalty.
There were calls for calm, too, from across the political spectrum, a hope that this latest case of political violence could bring Americans together, not push them further apart. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Washington.
People in southern Manitoba are dealing with the aftermath of heavy flooding. It was what it looked like in Steinbach, southeast of Winnipeg, Thursday night. Environment Canada says the city received over 100 millimeters of rain in just a few hours, flooding basements and a local animal rescue. Many other communities in southeastern Manitoba also reported high rainfall totals. And weather specialist Helena Mahalik joining us now. I said earlier in the week that we needed a good drench. Those folks in Manitoba definitely got it, and it looks like we are now too.
Yeah, Ethan, the storms are pretty dark here in Saskatoon. It's been hot all day, but you can really tell that a storm is brewing. There's been a lot of convection in the south, making for some severe conditions. Let's take a look at what's going on in the province Friday evening. Friday evening, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for areas just east of Regina. And with that storm, there are risks, including wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour, hail the size of 1/4 to 2 boonies, and periods of very heavy rainfall. And we are seeing thunderstorms in effect from Davidson all the way down into the southeast there. And there will be some very heavy periods of rainfall that could cause flash flooding, so exceed with caution if driving on the highway Friday night. Saturday morning, we're going to see the risk of some showers move to the Saskatoon area, but it won't last long before showers come back to the southeast. Some thunderstorms are possible for the Estevan area, and we're just going to see those storms get more intense as the day goes on. Might not be the best news for that Riders game, but we'll keep our hopes up. Sunday, we see the chance of some showers in the north for the Churchill region. Areas around La Ronge might get hit with some of that. And as we get into next work week, the southeast can't really catch a break from some of those showers. We're continuing to see some along the Manitoba border in the southeast there. So a good few days of rainfall there, most of which is going to be for areas just southeast of Regina. Places like Weyburn and Estevan could get over 40 millimeters of rainfall, close to 50 possible. Areas like Regina around 20 millimeters. Saskatoon and central areas won't get as much, but we are seeing upwards of 10 millimeters possible for that area. And in the north, just about 1 day of rainfall there, but we are still seeing a good amount along the Alberta border for areas like Pelican Narrows. La Ronge not getting too much, even though that is the area that needs the most rainfall. An air quality statement is in effect from La Ronge up into La Loche. But over the coming days, we are going to see some improvements to air quality, likely because of some of those storms that we're seeing, maybe just some more concentrated smoke around La Ronge. And as for our temperatures, we are going to see a few days of temperatures actually quite hot, especially around the Alberta border. As we get into Sunday with some of those storms, temperatures might get into the low 20s. But Ethan, we're still seeing temperatures that are more summer-like than fall as we get into that third week of September.
Okay, so we got clouds in the sky. I can't help but notice you're wearing a cloud sweater. And are those cloud earrings that I see too?
They are. It's Cloud Appreciation Day, actually. So I had to come fully decked out in my cloud gear.
Talk about dressing the part, taking it to a whole new level. Helena, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, a Saskatoon cafe has a unique new policy. Out-of-order coffee is discouraging its customers from tipping. Part of the reason is because it's committed to paying its employees a living wage. Blue Sky's Leisha Grabinski caught up with the cafe's owner.
I think from a very base level, I think we're just kind of tired of the tipping culture and where it's gotten to. You know, you go to a place where you're paying the price of a meal or a beverage or whatever it happens to be that is the most expensive we've ever been, and that's obviously an entire other conversation. But on top of that, you still have to tip the staff. And being in that industry, we understand that tipping in places is a necessity because those workers aren't paid enough.
They're relying on it.
They're relying on it. They have to have tips to pay their rent. If they don't have tips, their base for what they make is nowhere near enough to be able to pay rent, to buy groceries, to pay for their car insurance, for their benefits, whatever they might happen to have. It's just not enough. So
when people come here and they look at the price, the price is listed on your menu. Are the tips worked into that? Is it more to buy a cup of coffee here?
Ultimately, yes. The answer is yes. But the price of our items are just dictated by the cost of those items. Right now, coffee is the most expensive it's ever been. The green price of coffee is almost 3 times what it traditionally would be, let's say 5 or 6 years ago. So for us, we need to be able to price what that's worth, but we also need to be able to price our living wage. And the result of that is a menu that's priced higher than everyone else. And we're okay with that. We're happy with that.
Do people still come here?
So far, so good. Yeah. So really, I think at the end of the day, from what we've heard, is people are just happy to support living wages. They're happy to support people who are happy with their job, happy with the place that they work, and people who are able to get that living wage and also receive benefits, to have an employer that is taking care of them and is not simply driven by collecting a profit.
What do you do if a customer wants to leave a tip?
We just ask that they don't. That if they're looking to put extra money into something, there's hundreds and thousands of other causes where that extra $1, extra $2 can go, or pay it forward. Maybe buy somebody else's coffee. or leave a tip somewhere else, because not everywhere else has living wage. So save that for your next meal somewhere and just pay forward.
A previously lost work is going up for auction in France. Christ on Cross was thought to have disappeared, but was recently rediscovered in Paris. It's expected to fetch up to 3.2 million Canadian dollars. Stay with us, we're back after the break. The Saskatchewan Roughriders could clinch a playoff spot with a win this weekend. The team will take on a slumping Montreal Alouettes team that has lost 5 straight games. After back-to-back emotional wins, the Riders sit with a league-best 10-2 record, but 2 longtime CFL vets warn the team can't take any games for granted.
This is pro football, and we know that. They know that. If you don't bring your A game every week, you'll get punished for it. And this league has a lot of parity, so the difference lies a lot in your culture. What kind of team are you each and every week playing and play out? And that's really what we kind of rest our backbone on. Is we're bringing it every week. We're trying to improve every week. And this week, obviously we took a long, hard look in the mirror for what we could do better last week. 5 field goals not good enough. We got to get the ball in the end zone.
No, you can't overlook a team in the CFL, man. It's a talented league. Any team can win on any given week. So we understand that. We definitely don't underestimate our opponents.
Starting cornerbacks Tavon Campbell and Marcus Sales are both game-time decisions after missing practice all week. Kickoff is 5 o'clock on Saturday at Mosaic Stadium. And Helene is back now to tell us if we're going to continue to see this rain for the game.
Well, there is a ton of rain in the forecast. Could make things tricky for that Riders game. Let's take a look at the forecast for the city of Regina. There is a slight chance of rainfall in the city that'll last until about Tuesday. Let's hope that rain passes in time for the game. Saturday will be quite cool, but we're going to see temperatures get back up closer to the mid-20s for Sunday into Monday, and our overnight lows are going to be in the mid-teens as well. Tuesday, we have 1 day of relief from the rain and the sun is coming out, but as we get into Wednesday, we're seeing another 2 days of a slight chance of rainfall. And as we get into Friday, some cloud coverage rolls in, but we do see the chance of rain stop. Saskatoon is in for a lot of rain as well. It's another weekend of street fairs in the city on 33rd Street. Hopefully those don't get rained out. Temperatures are going to be jumping to those mid-20s into Sunday and lasting until about Wednesday. Our overnight lows in the double digits. We're going to be hovering at about 20 degrees for the rest of the week, and that rainfall could last until Friday, where some cloud cover and some wind moves in. So Ethan, I guess I'll be cozy in my cloud sweater, just enjoying the rain all week long.
Well, I got to know, you got any other weather-themed clothing we need to know about?
I do have some star-type things because I love the stars.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that next time. Thanks, Helena.
Thanks, Ethan.
And that's our news for this Friday. For more news anytime, you can head to our website or YouTube channel. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.